If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. I love the built-in editing tools in the app. I'm able to record my podcast, edit, and add music without any issues. It makes my workflow smooth and seamless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, so you don't need to have 500 subscribers or 1,000. You can start making money from the start. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey y'all, it's your girl Mac. Welcome to my podcast. Welcome to my channel. This is Mac Talks Music and Reviews. I do reviews of 90 Day Fiancé, sometimes Love After Lockup. I'm going to be adding in some reviews of music-related shows and documentaries and commentary. I'm not doing 90 Day Fiancé right now because I'm not feeling it. The current season I don't like. But I am excited to be reviewing Love After Lockup. I am here for the mess. I'm here for the ratchetry. I'm here for the trash. Okay. So, I'm so excited it's back. So let's get started. I'm reviewing what should be season 4, episode 1, but the producers of this show want to call it season 3, episode 35. Does not make any sense, but we're going to go with it because that's what they want. So, we're introduced to some new couples. And so the first couple I'm going to talk about is Dante, and Nicole. He met her. Let me start. Dante is from Virginia. He's a welder. He was in the Marines, which was surprising to hear. But he met Nicole, or they met on a prison dating website. And I never knew these existed before I started watching this show. It is still just, I don't understand why they even exist. But anyways, excuse me. They have been dating, I put air quotes around that, for a year and a half. Now, you're going to notice that the people on this show like to call it dating. But, you know, how can you date somebody whom you haven't spent a lot of time with in person and who has been locked up in prisons? But according to their definition of dating, that's what they're doing. So anyways, he is engaged to her. He's proposed to her. And he's 33. She's 23. So you got a 12-year age gap. Not a big deal, but he says he doesn't like materialistic people. Though we'll see, because she may be materialistic. He said he thought he would be married by the time he's 28, but he's 33 now and he's still not married. I'm not sure what his issue is. He's saying that he feels like, okay, I have a house, I have a car, you know, I have a good job, you know, what's going on. For some reason, he feels like he needs to go on prison dating websites to get girlfriends, because he's actually dated. Well, it wasn't dating. He was with a girl previously who had been in prison, and he met her online. So, and that girl, when she came out, didn't really want to deal with him, took his money. And so I'm not sure why he then would go back on the same website and try to meet somebody again in prison. I don't get that, but that's what he did. So Dante's best friend comes over. I don't recall his name, but and he's showing him all this stuff that he is going to give Nicole when she gets out of prison, including what he says is $1,000 in cash. And part of me did not believe that was really $1,000 in cash. Like, I was like, this has to be Monopoly money. He's trying to stunt, because why would you not just get her a prepaid card or a Chime card, right? Something, and just put the money on there. Like, why would you get $1,000 cash? But so I don't know if that was real money, but all the other stuff was real. He's clearly giving her all these things. I think they had a phone call, and like the first thing she said was, "Where's my money at?" And or do you have my money? And I mean, I don't know. We're going to see what kind of scammer she is, if she's good at what she's doing. I mean, obviously, she got this guy to propose to her, and he's going to be giving her all these things, so she's been effective. But at the same time, I'm like, if you're scamming right, you should be continuing to butter him up. Like, you should be answering the phone. Not that I'm a scammer, I'm trying to give advice, but I'm just surprised that usually these people, I've been watching this show since season 1, they're like, hey babe, how are you? Like, they don't just go straight to the point like that. I don't know if they edited that part out where she did say, hey, how are you doing? I don't know. But anyways, so the friend is just like, yo, you stupid. It sounds like you just bought a white girl, which I was like, did he really just say that on national television? But the friend is trying to be funny. Like, he's on TV, he's having his moment. So, yeah, I mean, he's kind of looking like Boo Boo the Fool right now. But so then he goes to visit his mom and his brother. And, of course his mom is concerned, and she doesn't want to see her son get played again because it happened before. And she actually lets us know that with the last girl, when the girl came out and he was giving her all this money, that it was so bad to the point where he had to move back in with her. And I'm sitting up there like, so you're telling me that he gave this girl so much money that he couldn't pay rent, he couldn't take care of himself? Like, part of me is like, what? How could it get to that point? Like, I don't know. They be saying stuff on this show sometimes, and I'm like, I don't, like, how do you give somebody so much money that you can't pay rent and you can't take care of yourself, that you have to move? Like, that seems like a lot. So, but I mean, she didn't seem to be overdoing it. Maybe that was the case. So, like, I didn't get a vibe that she was lying or making it up or embellishing. So he's sitting there and he says to his mom, like, oh, I need to tell you the ground rules, or you need to act right when she comes in. I was like, hold up. You're trying to tell a black mother about ground rules and that she needs to act right? I was like, sir, I couldn't believe she didn't slap him. I mean, that's probably what she was restraining herself. I don't know if after the camera she slapped him, but I couldn't tell my mama that. I couldn't be like, oh, mom, when you meet my babe or my boyfriend or whatever, you need to act right. These are the rules. I couldn't say that to her. I could say, hey, I want you to be nice to him. Please be open or whatever. But I could not say act right. I could not say ground rules. Whew. You could see she was getting heated after that. She was trying to hold herself. She didn't want to embarrass him too bad on national television. But so then, he says that Nicole told him that, oh yeah, she would just got on the site to find dudes to get money from, obviously. But like, he's 1 in a million and he's different. And it looked like he really believed that. And so I don't know. I don't know what's really up with Deontay or Dante. I'm not sure if he's not aware that just like there's men that play women, there's women that play men. Like, I don't know if he doesn't realize that, when you don't protect yourself as a person, or you don't use wisdom in who you deal with, that you can get taken advantage of. He seems old enough to be aware of that. I don't know if he's just playing a role, because I know there have been actors on these shows, but I'm just like, did he not? I don't know. It just, I'm like, it seems like he might have actually believed that. And so, and then he has his brother there, and his brother is sitting there, he's just looking at him, listening. And, I felt bad for his brother, because his brother's 16, he's 33. So he should kind of be a good example for his brother. And like, obviously, okay, he has a career. He's a welder. That's a trade, and those people do make decent money. He has his own place. He is taking care of himself, and that's good. That's a good example. But, at the same time, he's kind of letting himself get run over by this inmate, somebody who's not really doing anything with their life. They're in prison. So it's like, I felt bad for him, because he's pretty much watching his brother clown on national television, put on his clown shoes and embarrass himself. So I felt a little bad for his brother. But he tells his mom that he spent maybe $20K on her, and the mom this is like the straw that breaks the camel's back. She's through at that point. She's through. And she's like, what? On what? And I don't really take heed into these numbers. They, every season they have people give these exorbitant numbers of money that they've sent these people. And I often don't believe it. I can believe they sent them some money, but I don't really ever believe that it's, in the five figures like that. So that's Dante or Deontay and Nicole. We'll see what happens with them. Next, I'm gonna talk about Ray and Brittany. So Brittany, she's from Houston, Texas. She is telling us that she came from a middle class background and she's bougie. She uses the term bougie. It's interesting that she uses that term. I mean, I often only use that term in jest, right? I don't ever use it in seriousness. But the women that I've met who people might attach that term never call themselves that. Like, it's just evident in how they act and how they behave. And, like, I don't even like the implication of what bougie is supposed to mean. That's why I never use it in seriousness. So I was a little surprised that she even said that. If she had said, I like nice things or I act a certain, like, I would, but anyways, I found that a little, like, I was like, are you serious when you say that? But anyways, they're trying to set up this idea that this is a girl that comes from a middle class background and she's bougie. I'm putting air quotes around that, but she's with an inmate. So she met this guy Ray on, I think she said social media, or maybe she might have said Facebook. I think she did say Facebook, and they've been, again, she used the term dating for 9 months. Now, a lot of us can attest to this. There are people, sometimes random, if you don't have your account on private, random guys will inbox you. I've never had an inmate do that. I don't accept friend requests from random people, so I don't. But I've known girls who do get messages from random guys and they'll say they're in prison. So I have been told that by a friend before, but obviously she didn't continue talking to him like that or whatever. And she says that he messaged her and then he told her she was on lockdown, and she was like, what do you mean? And then they video chatted and she saw, the background and everything that he was in prison. And I'm like, okay, so why did you keep talking to him? And she didn't answer that. And I'm like, there's no way the producers didn't ask her that. But she kept talking to him. And a lot of times it seems like with these women, and we've seen that on this show, it's because the guy is really physically attracted to them. And I get that that's a pull. But then we see Ray, and Ray is not that good. Listen, I don't like to come for people's looks, but for me to think that a woman is going to overlook you having a job, you having money, you being established, usually it's because the dude is banging, and... But when I looked at him, I was like, okay, why did you keep talking to him? Like, I still don't understand. Because he wasn't gorgeous. I'm not, like, usually if the guy's really good looking, then I'm like, I'm not saying it's justified or that I would do it, but I'm trying to understand why you would do that. And usually I'm like, okay, if he's good looking, then I'm thinking that's why she's doing it. But anyways, he's been in prison for 4 years. I forgot to say, Nicole from Dante and Nicole, she's been in prison for 4 years as well. He's in prison for possession with intent to sell. So he was probably out here either working for a drug dealer or he was a drug dealer himself, and so we find out Brittany is talking to her friends. She says that she hasn't told her family. Apparently, she was in an abusive relationship, and it got so bad that, she had the guy arrested. She called the police. She had him arrested, and he's doing time for abusing her. And her family, because of what she went through, they are very cautious and hesitant about the men she dates. Now, I don't know if this is her first. She didn't indicate or let us know if this is her first relationship after that or not. So she didn't give us, like, background about what the time limit has been since she was in this relationship. Now, I don't know if that's why she's talking to this guy, because she feels like maybe she doesn't want to get it back out there. She's afraid or she's hesitant. I don't know if she feels like, okay, because he's in prison, I was able to get to know him and not I don't know. It could be that she feels like maybe she's afraid to go back out there, or she feels safer talking to somebody in this way. Or she feels more control, because obviously when you're in an abusive situation, you could probably feel out of control when somebody is, harming you and trying to control what you're doing. Like, a lot of times the abuser is controlling. So maybe she felt like she had more control. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out because I'm not seeing why she's dealing with this dude. So she's hesitant to tell her parents. And so she's going to tell them and let them know. We will see, again, what happens with this. So then the next couple, let me talk about Stan and Lisa first, because Josh and Courtney and Rachel and Doug were the most interesting couples to me. So let me talk about Stan and Lisa, because I feel like they were the least interesting. I mean, they were cool, but they weren't as interesting as the other couples. So Stan is from St. Louis, and he claims to be worth 2.3 million. Maybe that's true. And I don't know. His wife passed. I think somebody online was like, he's 68, but I could have sworn he said 75. So, because he may be 68 going on 75. Listen, because I was like, 65, he should look better than this if he's 65. You know, I think it was 75. But anyways, his wife passed, and he claims that he's dated up to 125 women. Now, listen, that's another thing. I don't know. I feel like Stan was out here fibbing, but not because a man can't possibly meet that many women. I'm not going to say that, but I think that, okay, we'll get to that, because he met Lisa on Seeking Arrangement, which, if you don't know, is a sugar baby website. So, sugar babies, people looking for sugar babies, looking for sugar daddies. So, like, once I heard that, I was like, okay, it is possible that he's dated 125, because, you know, women on that site are looking for a certain type of man, and they're looking for a certain type of woman. So maybe he's dated a bunch of those chicks. Anyways, so he's saying that he's been on all these dates, but it hasn't been much substance. I'm a little surprised that somebody who was in a marriage for a long time, whose wife passed, is out here dating so many women. You would think he would just want to lock one person down, but he says that he does want to be with one person, but he would rather be with a younger woman, because he's saying sex is better with them. The older women have body problems and all this. And, you know, it's just a very stereotypical thing to say. And it's like, okay, you know, whatever, sir. Anyways, so I just want to say that this is why I question if he's worth 2.3 million, because he's claiming that he has, net worth is not the money in the bank. Net worth is the value of what, you know, you're attached to, your business is whatever. So maybe he has $1 million in the bank. Maybe he has 700K in the bank. I don't know. But you're telling me that you're at least probably a 6-figure earner, maybe 7-figure, but you can't afford a better hairpiece. Sir, when I mean, first of all, don't be afraid to go bald. You know, if you're balding on the top, it's okay for a man to let that go. Some men are able to rock a bald head. Number 2, you want me to believe that you're worth 2.3 million, but you cannot go and get hair plugs, hair implants. You cannot go and have somebody design a more realistic looking wig. And it can be done. I've seen it. There are man weaves out here. There are barbers who do man weaves for black and white men. I've seen black and white men on YouTube videos. I'm just like, this is amazing, where the barber created a hairpiece and it looks natural, and they put it on their head. So I'm like, sir, you want us to believe you trying to get over on us and tell us you're worth all this money, but you cannot afford to invest in making your hair at least look natural. Stop it. Stop it. We are not stupid. So he again says that he's been dealing with her for 1.5 years. Now, he's the only person out of all these people that has actually dated this person for real. He met the girl on Seeking Arrangement, and then they did meet out in the real world, and they smashed. Which at first, before I realized that it was he met her on a sugar baby site, I was like, she's smashing dudes on the first date. And then when I heard he met her on a sugar baby site, I was like, okay, that makes sense. So but then he didn't hear from her. So then he gets like a message or a call or something saying that she's in prison. And he decided to keep dealing with her because I guess he was tired of dating or whatever. So now she's going to come out. He's telling his friends, and his friends are very funny. His one friend is like, oh yeah, I think I dated her grandma. And he's like, oh, she looks healthy. And I don't know if he's trying to imply that she looked thick or like full figure, which she kind of did a little bit, but the picture was only from the waist up, so I couldn't fully tell. I couldn't see her whole figure, but she looked pretty much slim to me. So his friends she calls him, and she tells him that, he's with his friends, and he showed them her picture, and she's like, oh, I don't really look like that anymore. I'm looking like my brother. And I'm like, why would you tell him that? Like, I don't understand why she said that. Again, I'm not sure about the scammers this season. Like, the dudes seem to be doing the scamming a little better than the females, because, like, I mean, I guess she wanted to be honest, but, like, you can still play it off. I don't know anyway. So, and I mean, plus, like, we've seen some of these girls come out of prison looking cute. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not sure how, but not all of them look rough. So, I mean, but anyways, so the friends are like, oh, we look forward to meeting you. And you can kind of tell that one of the friends, I wish I was like doing a video because, or on camera, because one of the friends did this old man pose with the leg out. It was funny, but you can tell he's the friend that, the one that was like, oh, I think I dated her grandma, who's kind of like, he's going to tell the truth. He's going to crack some jokes. The other friend seemed like he's the type where he's going to talk about you behind your back, but he's not going to say nothing to your face. Like, when he's on the phone with your other friends, he's going to be like, yeah, he's stupid. He look real dumb. But in your face, he's not going to say nothing. So, so yeah, I hope that we get to see more of his friends, because they are funny. I also hope we get to see more of Deontay or Dante's friend as well, because I can see the two of those three are going to be hilarious for us. So I hope we see more of them. Now, okay, let me move on to the most interesting couples. Let me talk about Rachel and Doug. So Rachel is in Michigan, Rachel and Doug, and I just want to say this first, even though this is not that important. Rachel is 4'10", and Doug is 6'5". Nobody, I watched some of the reviews and nobody mentioned that, and I know it's not a big deal, but like, that's a big height difference. When she showed the picture, this woman was up to this man's like torso, almost his navel. I was like, wow. So anyways, now next, she's an engineer. She's been in the Marines. She says she follows the rules, but she loves bad boys. Now, okay. She says she likes bad boys. And she says that she likes, sounds like she likes rough sex, and she wants a man that can give that to her. And seems to think that only men who have been in prison or committed crimes can do that. I mean, I doubt that that's the case, but hey, to each their own. Doug, I just realized I didn't say what Brittany was in prison for. I actually don't know. Oh, yes, possession of narcotics. She's been in prison for 4 years as well. Wow. No, not possession of narcotics. No, actually, I take that back. I don't know why Lisa was in prison. Oh, selling drugs. There you go. Selling drugs. She's a trap queen. I don't know how long she's been in prison. Okay, anyways, let me get back to Rachel and Doug. Doug has been in prison for 11 years. Oh my gosh. And he's 28 years old. So he's been in prison since he was a teenager. Ooh, child. And he got arrested for doing a home invasion when he was 17, and then he did a drive-by. We've had some people, most of the people on this show usually were in prison for robbery or selling drugs, something drug related. There haven't been a lot of people on this show, really, or any, who were convicted of violent crimes. And I think they do that on purpose because they, we're not going to really want to hear from somebody who's done things who has harmed anyone. But this guy did a home invasion and a drive-by. It doesn't sound like anyone died, right? But home invasion means that there were people in the house and that they threatened people. Drive-by means he intended to harm somebody. This girl's taking a huge risk. This guy could be violent because his crimes are violent. Okay, so, and he's been incarcerated for 11 years. He's pretty much mentally a child if he's 28 and he's been in prison for 11 years. He's been in prison since he was a teenager. He's never lived as an adult on the outside. Rachel has dated, this is the third convict she's dated. She married him in prison 10 months into their relationship. And, but in spite of her saying that she feels like, these types of men who are criminals, give the type of sex she wants. She has not slept with him. Michigan does not allow conjugal visits. The state of Michigan. And I was like, that's tough. That's tough if you've been married to somebody. I just think considering that she's saying that this is so important to her, I'm surprised that she, is taking that kind of risk. But, well, technically they have had sex, but in a different way. So anyways, so she allowed, his son came to live with her. The mother, the biological mother, they say she has some severe drug problems. Not surprised. I am surprised that she took this boy in. Apparently, at first, he was just visiting her on the weekends, which I'm like, okay, so that means there is another adult, that was watching him. So I'm like, okay, clearly Doug does have a parent, sibling, some kind of family member, or family member of the mother that was watching this child. So why is she now taking care of them? I think she said he's been staying with her full time because of the pandemic. But part of me is like, what? No, like he could have still went back to, unless, I don't know. So that didn't fully, I was like, what? But anyways, the boy is 12 years old. And at first I was like, oh, he don't like her. He's disrespectful because like she was asking him, hey, can you come outside? And he was like, don't bother me right now or something like that. And I was like, no, this is not, we don't have a problem with him. But then, she told him like, put the video game down. I need to talk to him. At first he wasn't listening and then he put it down. And so then she asked him, how do you feel about your dad coming home? And, his head is kind of down and, he's just saying he's excited and she's letting him know, your dad might have rules. And he's like, you know what, I know that, but I'm willing to follow it because I want to have a relationship with him. But like, I am going to be mad at him. I'm going to punch him in the stomach for not being there to take care of his kid, but I'm going to hug him after that. And, I just want us to be a family. I just want us to be spend time with my father. And that's when I realized, okay, he's not like a misbehaving kid from what we're seeing right now. He's just, his mother is not healthy. His dad is in jail. He wants to have a relationship with his father. And I feel for him because, his mother's an addict. His dad's in jail. I don't know if either of the parents' family members have been responsible or given him any stability. He's getting stability from this girl, Rachel. So I would imagine he must like her because she's giving him a normal experience, but she's not his biological mother and father. Then Rachel's friends come over and, she's telling them, what's up. And, they're saying, listen, it ain't gonna work out. It ain't gonna work out. I also forgot to say that I think that part of why he was looking down and stuff, you're putting a 12-year-old on camera. That kind of was uncomfortable for me. This child is already dealing with the fact that he has a mother who's a drug addict and then his father's in prison and he hasn't really gotten to spend that much time with his parents. This guy's been in jail for 11 years. So he must have gotten this girl pregnant, right when they were 19, 20, and then he goes to jail. So has this boy only visited his father in prison? Is that the only time he spent time with him? Like, my goodness. So, after all that, now you're putting a camera in his face. I'm amazed that he didn't pop off. He knew how to act. So I think possibly there has been a family member of either of the parents who has, taught him how to act and behave because he didn't act inappropriate. He wasn't rude. He wasn't disrespectful. Like, he knew how to express himself and speak, even though he wasn't making eye contact. I know why, because the cameras were there. And that's why part of me is like, why do you have this little boy with a camera in his face, But anyways, so Josh calls her and the way he's talking to her is it's aggressive. Like, it's kind of aggressive, and it was a little troubling to hear. But when the camera's on her face, she's kind of like, I guess she didn't want to fully just smile in her friend's face, so she's trying to like hide it or screw up her face, but she's like getting off on this. Like, she is enjoying the way he's talking to her, even though it kind of is, it's, and kind of disrespectful. And she says that he told her, "Oh, you're gonna marry me." He didn't ask her. He was like, "You're marrying me," and she says she likes that he's a little bossy or controlling. It turns her on or something like that. And I'm like, okay, listen. If you're into that in the bedroom, that's your business. Everybody has, the things that they like and turn them on. But I don't know if it's okay if that goes beyond the bedroom. If somebody is being controlling, I mean, you know what? Get your life. If that's what she wants, but not for me. So now Josh and Courtney. This is the other most interesting couple. So Courtney was a corrections officer. She met Josh while she was working as a corrections officer in the prison that he was incarcerated in. And Josh went to jail at 18 years old. He's now 29 or 28 or 29 and she's 30. She says she's been married 3 times already, or this is her 3rd time getting married. And she married him 6 months into their relationship. Now, when she was first, when they first started talking, she would come to the prison where she worked. Like, she would come off and then go and visit him, put a wig on so that her coworkers didn't recognize her. And I'm sitting there like, but you had the same face though. Like, why would you think that they wouldn't recognize you? Like, that's like part of me is like, I've gone to work with different hairstyles and they still knew it was me. So I was like, girl, what in the world's dumbest criminals? Like, you, I can't. But anyway, she said she was able to get away with that for 8 weeks, which I'm like, hold up. Nobody recognized you for 2 months? Then I was like, well, they was slacking because how did they not? But anyway, so then she got caught and they fired her, of course, and they arrested her. Now, she said she didn't know, she knew it was against the rules, but she didn't realize it was a law. And she also mentioned that what got her interested in him was when she went in his cell and she found some letters that he'd written, not letters, but just journal entries of him saying that he felt alone and he felt like nobody cared about him. And I mean, that's understandable that an 18-year-old, going into prison, maybe if his family's not visiting him or seeing him, we don't know if he was a foster care kid or what, that's understandable that he would say that. And that was sad to hear. And she said she identified with that, but I'm a little confused because she didn't give us a timeline on when they met. So I wasn't sure if when she met him, he was 18 or he was 19 or 20. Like, I wasn't sure if she just got with this dude in the last 2 years, 3 years, or if this was 10 years ago when, when he was 19 and she was 20. I didn't get a clear understanding of if she's been dealing with this man for 10 years, but then I'm like, can't be, because she said she's been married 2 times. So I'm not sure how long they've been together. I know she said they got married 6 months into their relationship, but I don't know how long they've been together or how old the both of them were when they first started dealing with each other. And also when they got married, he proposed to her by getting a tattoo of her face and saying, "Will you marry me?" Now I was like, hold up. When I seen the picture, I said, somebody in prison did that? I was disturbed and impressed at the same time because the photo looked like her. Like, I was like, yo, you got some talent. This man, whoever it is that did that tattoo in prison, is talented. Like, this is why people got to get themselves together, because that man could be out being a full-on tattoo artist and getting money, because that prison tattoo was well done. I mean, he did the girl's face on the man's arm. I mean, that was impressive, I must say. But anyways, it was impressive, the person who did it. It's not impressive that he did that. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. But it's also, it's impressive whoever was able to do that. They're talented. So, especially for the fact that they weren't doing it with regular tools. And with the tools sterilized, like, I'm amazed that these people don't get infections with these prison tattoos. But anyways, when they got married, apparently they had a double proxy of 2 individuals who stood in their place, which I didn't know that could be done. I was like, really? Okay. So, he's not going to be able to stay with her after he gets out because she's still on probation. He's just going to be able to quarantine with her for the 14 days. But then after that, they're going to require him to go live with someone else. I forgot to mention that she had got sentenced to 60 days in jail, and she's got 2 years of probation that she's still on as of when this was recorded. But I saw that somebody whose reviews I listened to, her name is Jay Lee. The channel is Jay Lee's Corner. She said that the girl commented under a video when she did, like, when we saw the preview a month or two, a little while ago. She did a video going over the preview trailer, and she said the girl commented, and so I went and I looked for it, and I found it, and she was like, "Oh, this is Courtney from the Josh and Courtney couple." A lot of people, like, you're gonna see when the show comes out that I went to jail, but I didn't go to jail for being with Josh. Y'all gonna find out what I really went to jail for. And she was like, "I'm crazy," and I was like, "What?" Well, we could see you a little off. We could see that, but yeah. So we'll see what happens then. That's a first. Watching this show, I have not actually seen any of the, the seasons, any of the people comment under somebody's review video and say something like that. So, we will see. So then, she goes to see a police, a lawyer, and, she's saying, is there anything I can do as far to get him to be able to parole to me? And the lawyer's just like, listen, that it's up to their discretion. It's in their hands. So then, because she is on probation and, she got fired, she cannot step foot on the prison property. So she goes and she brings her friend, and her friend's going to pick him up and then come back to meet for them to see each other. I was a little confused because I was like, the friend, Courtney was driving and the friend got out the car. But then the friend, she got out her car to hide because she wanted to surprise him, and the friend drives up. So I'm like, did the friend get out and get in her vehicle? Whose vehicle is this? Or did she let the girl drive and then she just sat over there? Like, I was confused. But anyways, so she is going to meet him in a pickle suit because they have some kind of inside joke with, "Oh, I'm a big deal." And she thinks that's cute. But I'm like, why would you not want to look cute or look attractive, like, for your man that you haven't seen? Like, I mean, listen, I don't know if that was her idea, if it was the producers, but you couldn't pay me enough to do that. If I'm seeing my man for the first time in a while or at all, I'm going to look good. Like, I'm not going to be in no pickle suit. That's not, I doubt he's going to find that sexually attractive. But anyways, so, or maybe, you know what? Let me take that back. Everybody has their, never mind. I have no idea. That's about it. The only thing I do want to say is, she also said that she, at one point, didn't fix her hot water heater so that she could send him money. I don't know if that's true. And I'm just kind of like, I'm wondering, why has this woman given up so much to be with this person? Like, this doesn't make sense. Who out here is giving up a stable job with probably benefits and maybe a pension? Why would you do that for no man? Like, especially for a man that's broke. Listen, the only way I'm giving up a job is if the man makes good money, if I don't have to work, right? Like, if he's making enough money that it's really, decent money, 6 figures, 90K, 6 figures, and I don't have to worry, and I can just have my business and do my thing and keep my money and save it, invest, have a, that's the only way that it's why, like, to quit a good job. Like, so I'm confused. Unless she has an inheritance, and she can live off family money. Like, I don't understand. Why would you break up? Why would you go broke to be with, like, how y'all supposed to live? But anyways, that's the first episode of what should be season 4 of Love After Lockup. Hopefully this is gonna be a good season. It seems like it's off to a good start. So thank you for listening, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Wherever you're listening, you can also subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, So thank you for listening. Bye.